stage, and all the men and women, merely players. They have their exits and entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. At first, the infants, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms. And then, the whining schoolboy, with his satchel and shining warning face, creeping like snail, unwillingly to school. And then, the lover, sighing like furnace, with a woeful ballad composed to his mistress, eyebrow. And then, the soldier, bearded like the pard, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation, even in the cannon's mouth. And then, the judge, in fair round belly with good cape and line, with eyes severe, beard of formal cut. And so he plays his part. The 6th age shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloon, with spectacle on nose and pouch on side, his youthful hose well saved, a world too wide for his shrunk shank, and his big manly voice creeping again to a childish treble, pipes and whistles in his sound. Last stage of all that ends this strange, eventful history is second childishness and mere oblivion. Sans eyes, sans teeth, sans taste, sans everything. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women, merely players. For Jacques, and As You Like It, this is merely a cynic expressing his contempt for the world. But if we take a step back and see the playwright behind the player, we find more hope for those with a part in Shakespeare's plays. People in those are not merely players, nor are they stuck in any one stage of life. King Lear, for example, he is an aging king, a slippered pantaloon, and he'd like to play the soldier. He simply can't. This is his downfall. And the people we find the most contemptible in that play are the ones who are the most willing to play along, Regan and Goneril. It is those who do not act their parts that are the most convincing, the most true to life, and the most lovable. Now, the King of France, for example, sees through all of this acting because he is a good judge of character. Lear, on the other hand, cannot or will not. Perhaps because if he saw the truth behind the acting, he would have to face the truth about himself. Now, all that follows in King Lear is a consequence of the first crucial scene, which you're not about to see. I get ahead of myself, I'm sorry. Before we dive into the scenes, let's get to know the playwright and the author. By the way, my name is Kodiak Tashida. I'll be your master of ceremonies tonight. It's so good to see all of your faces. I know more than half of you have put weeks, hours that you didn't have into making this a success. And for those of you who are supporting us, thank you so much for coming tonight. It'll be a blast. And like I said, let's have a little bit more about Shakespeare's life.
William Shakespeare's life. April 23rd, 1564, Shakespeare was born in Stratford-upon-Avon, England, to Mary and John Shakespeare. He was the 3rd child out of 8. 1571. It is believed that Shakespeare started grammar school age 7. November 27, 1582. Shakespeare marries Anne Hathaway, a farmer's daughter, who is 26 years old, 8 years older than him. May 26, 1583. Shakespeare's first child, Susanna, is born. She lives to the age of 66.
February 2nd, 1585. Shakespeare's twins are born. The boy Hamnet dies at age 11. The girl Judith lives to be 77 years old. 1585. Shakespeare leaves Stratford for London to start his career in the theater. 1593. Shakespeare starts writing the sonnets. 1594. Shakespeare founded the Men in Acting Company.
1595. Shakespeare writes both A Midsummer Night's Dream, and Romeo and Juliet. 1596 through 1597, Shakespeare's son Hamlet dies. Shakespeare revives a very large house called New Place in Stratford. 1598 through 1599. The Globe Theatre is built and Shakespeare is a part owner. 1613. The Globe Theatre burns to the ground and was later rebuilt in 1614. April 23, 1616. Shakespeare dies after a few days of high fever at the age of 52. He is buried in Stratford upon Avon in England.
Some people call Shakespeare the Bard, and to be honest, I never understood that. Because he isn't famous for his poetry so much as his plays. And so I was thinking about that, and I realized they called him the Bard of Avon, so that checks out. He's from Avon, and he does write poetry. But that can't be it. There's a reason why the name is stuck. And I would suggest that it is because there is something poetic that runs through all of Shakespeare's words. And you can see this in anything from an amorous chat.
I wear you in my heart. You are the miracle of friendship.
Mine eyes have seen your beauteous face.
Your breath casts sweet perfume.
Thou art my sugared fair-faced pigeon egg.
And you, my gallant tiger booted with.
Or a friendly chat.
Now damned and luxurious mountain goat, let's make as little as we can.
More of your conversation infects my brain.
Away, thou art poisons my blood.
Hang yourself, you muddy conger, hang yourself.
Thou sordid-witted lord, that hast no more brain than I have in mine elbows.
Come, you tedious fool.
Beg that thou mayest leave to hang thyself.
Meantime, we shall express our darker purpose. Give me the map there. Know that we have divided in three our kingdom, and it is our fast intent to shake all cares and business from our age, conferring them on younger strengths, while we unburdened crawl toward death. Our son of Cornwall, and you, our noblest loving son of Albany. We have this hour our constant will to publish our daughter's several dowers, that future strife may be prevented now. The Princes France and Burgundy, great rivals of my youngest daughter's love, have long in our court made their amorous sojourn and are here to be answered. Tell me, my daughters, since now we will divest us both of rule, interest of territory, and cares of state, which of you shall we say doth love us most? By we which our largest bounty may extend, where nature doth with merit challenge. Goneril, our eldest born, speak first.
Sir, I love you more than the words can wield the matter. Dear the eyesight, space, and liberty, beyond what can be valued, rich and rare. No less than life with grace, health, beauty, honor. As mother's child, their love for father bound. A love that makes breath, corn, speech, and able. Beyond all manner of selection.
And then poor Cordelia, and yet not so, since I am sure, my love's more richer than my own.
Of all these bounds, even from this line to this, with shadowy forests and champagnes rich, with plenteous rivers and wide-skirted meads, be thine and Albany's issue, be this perpetual. What says our second daughter, our dearest Reedy, wife to Cornwall? Speak.
Sir, I am made of the self-same metal that my sister is, and prides me at her worth and my true heart. I find she names my very deed of love. Only she comes too short, that I profess myself an enemy to all other joys, which the most precious square of sense possesses, and find that I am alone felicitant in your dear highness's love.
Then poor Cordelia, and yet not so, since I am sure, my love's more richer than my own.
To thee and thine, hereditary ever, remain this ample third of our fair kingdom. No less in space, validity, and pleasure than that conferred on God. Now, our joy, although the last, not least, whose young love the vines of France and milk of Burgundy strive to be interest. What can you say to draw a third more opulent than your sisters? Speak.
Nothing, my lord.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Nothing comes from nothing. Speak again.
Unhappy that I am, I cannot heave my heart into my mouth. I love your majesty according to my bond, no more nor less.
How, Cordelia? Mend your speech a little, lest it may mar your fortunes.
Good, my lord, you begot me, bred me, loved me. I return those duties back as right thing. Obey you, love you, and most honor. Why have my sisters husbands if they say we love you all? Haply, when I shall wed, the Lord whose hands take my flight, carry half my love with him, half my carry duty, shall never marry like my sisters, to love my father all.
What goes thy heart with this?
Aye, good lord,
So young and so untender?
so young, my lord, and true.
Let it be so then. Thy truth be thy dower, or by the sacred radiance. Out of my sight.
See better, Lear, and let me still remain the true blank of thine eye.
Now by Apollo.
Now by Apollo, king, thou swearest thy gods in vain,
Oh, vassal, miscreant.
to kill thy physicians, and the fee bestow upon thy foul disease. Revoke thy doom, or whilst I commit and clamor from my throat, I tell thee, thou dost evil.
Hear me, recreant. On thine allegiance, hear me. Since thou hast sought to make us break our vow, which we durst never yet, with strained pride, our potency made good. Take thy reward. 5 days we will allot thee, for provision to shield thee from diseases of the world. And on the 6th to turn thy hated back upon our kingdom. If on the 10th day following, thy vanished trunk be found in our dominions, the moment is thy death. Away, by Jupiter, that shall not be revoked.
Fare thee well, king. Sith thus thou wilt appear, freedom lives hence, and banishment is here.
My lord of Burgundy, first addressed towards you, who with this king hath rivaled for our daughter, what in the least will you require in present dower with her, or siege requested from her?
Most Royal Majesty, I crave no more than what your highness offered, nor will you tender less.
Right, noble Burgundy. When she was dear to us, we did her so. But now, her price has fallen. Sir, there she stands, and fought within that little seeming substance, or all of it, with our displeasure pieced. Nothing more may fitly like your grace. She's there, and she's yours.
I know no answer.
Will you then, with those infirmities she owes, unfriended, you adopted to our hate, dowered with our curse and strangers with our oath, take her or leave her?
Pardon me, royal sir, election makes not up on such conditions.
Then leave her, sir, not by such a strait, and that you our hate. Therefore, beseech you to avert your liking more worthier way than on a wretch whom nature's ashamed almost to acknowledge hers.
This is most strange that she, that even but now is your best object. Argument of your grace, bone of your age, most best and most dearest, and this choice of time, in a thing so monstrous. To dismantle so many folds of favor, it is but this, a tardiness in nature which often leaves history unspoken that intends no. What say you, Lord of Burgundy? Blows not lowlands mingle with the guards that stand aloof with no entire point. Will you have her? She is herself a dowry. Royal Lear, give up that person which you so proclaim, and here I take Cordelia by the hand, Duchess of Burgundy.
Nothing. I have sworn I am yours.
Since thou respects the fortune or its love, I shall not be his wife.
Fairest Cordelia, thou art most rich being poor, most choice forsaken, and most loved despised. Be in thy virtues here I seize upon. Be it lawful, I take up its cast away. Cunt! 'Tis strange that from their close neglect, my love should kindle to inflame respect. Thy dowerless daughter, king, thrones my chance, is queen of us, of ours, and our fair France. Not all the dukes of waters Burgundy can buy this unprized precious meat of it. Bid them farewell, Cordelia, though unkind, thou losest here.
Sister, it is not a little I have to say of what most nearly appertains to us both. I think our father will hence tonight.
That's most certain. You, next month, us.
You see how full of changes his age is. The observation we have made of it hath not been little. He always loved our sister most, and with what poor judgment he hath now cast her off appears too grossly.
'Tis the infirmity of his age, yet he hath record but Simon on himself.
The best and soundest of his time hath been but rash, and must we look to receive from his age, not alone the imperfections of long and graft conditions, but therewithal the unruly waywardness that infirm and choleric years bring with them.
Such inconstant starts we are like to have from him now as after his banishment.
There's further compliment of leave taking between France and you. Pray you, let's sit together. If our father carry authority with such dispositions as he bears, this last surrender of his will but offend us.
We shall further.
We must do something.
Oh, what of the
the noble mind is here o'erthrown, the courtiers, soldiers, scholars, eye-tongue, sword, the expectancy rose with fair state, the observed of all observers, quite dead. And I of ladies most eject and wretched, that suck the honey of his music vows. Now see that the noble and most sovereign reason, like sweet bells gentle, out of tune and harsh. That unmatched form and feature of blown youth, blasted with ecstasy. Oh, woe is me, to have seen what I have seen, see what I see.
To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, to take arms against a sea of troubles, by posing in them, die to sleep. No more. By sleep to say we end the heartache and 1,000 natural shocks that flushes thereto. 'Tis a consummation, valid to be wished, to die, to sleep, chance to dream. Aye, here's the rope. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil, must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity of so long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time, the oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, pangs of despised love, the law's delay, the insolence of office and the spurns? That patient merit of the unworthy takes when he himself might as quiet as me. With the bare bakken, who would fardels bear, to drop and sweat under a weary life, but that the dread of something after death. The undiscovered country from which we're born, no traveler returns, puzzles the will, and makes us rather bear those ills we have, than fly to others that we know not of. Thus conscience does make cowards of us all, and thus the native hue of resolution is sickly to over pale cast of fly, and enterprise is a great faith and moment. With this regard the currents turn her eye, and lose the name of action. Soft now, fair Ophelia, nymph in thy orisons, be all my sins remembered.
Bonnie banks and beyond bonnie banks, where the sun shines bright on the moorland, where me and my true love will never meet again, on the bonnie banks of the moorland. You'll take the high road and I'll take the low road, and I'll be in Scotland before you, and me and my true love will never meet again.
shalt bear a child of sovereign grace to comfort all mankind. Thou shalt bear him, Lord and God of all, to save our human race. How shall this be false and cheap to be a virgin lonely? How can I deny the vows that bind me to be holy? Then said the angel, make believe, God's Holy Ghost shall this achieve. So be not afraid, but now rejoice, rejoice indeed, forever in his sight. For thy trust shall be in his.
I am a nobleman, so I have a lot of money and a lot of freedom. I spend my time taking care of my estates. I like to hunt and travel. I spend a lot of time at court, and sometimes the queen sends me to different countries to negotiate treaties. Anytime the queen visits me, I have to throw a big party for her. I am a baker, but it is important food that people eat every day. The best bake is cooked in Noble Castle. I am a nurse. I take care of children. When a girl grows up, I'll be her personal assistant and bodyguard till she marries. It is especially important that I teach a young girl how to act like a lady, for she will be at court and the queen will be watching her closely. I am very important job. Although I don't get paid a lot of money, I forge and sharpen weapons to repair them. I also make utensils, groceries, iron, blacksmith, and a smith. A smith is somebody who works with black metal when it is hot, such as iron. But soft, what lights you when the window breaks? It is the east, and Juliet is the sun. Arise first on kill the envious moon, who is already sick and pale with grief. Be not her maid, since she is envious. Her vessel liberty is but sick and green, and none but fools to wear. Cast it off. Oh, is my lady. Oh, is my love. Oh, that she knew she were. She speaks yet says nothing. What of that? Her eyes discourses. I will answer it. I am too bold. 'Tis not to me she speaks. To the fairest stars in all of heaven. Heaven says innocence, and trick in her eyes, to twinkle in their spheres until they return. What if her eyes were there? They in her head. The brightness of a cheek would change the stars, as those daylight doth the lamp. Her eyes in heaven, with the aeration stream so bright, the birds would sing if they were not night. See how she leans her cheek upon her hand. Oh, there were a glove upon her hand, then I might touch that cheek.
Ay me.
She speaks. Oh, speak again, bright angel, for that word is glorious to his neck. Being over my head is a winged messenger of heaven, unto await upturned wondering eyes of mortals that fall back to gaze on him. When he bestrides the lazy peace and clouds his sails upon the bosom of the air.
O Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? Deny thy father and refuse thy name. Or if thou wilt not be but sworn my love, I'll no longer be a Capulet.
Shall I hear more, or shall I speak at this?
'Tis but thy name that is my enemy. Thou art thyself, though not Montague. What's Montague? Is it nor hand, nor foot, nor arm, nor face, nor any other part belonging to a man? Oh, be some other name. What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name would smell sweet. So Romeo would, were he not Romeo called, retain that dear perfection which he owes without that title. Romeo, doff thy name, and thy name, which is no part of thee, take all myself.
I take thee at thy word, call me love, but love, now be new baptized, henceforth I would never be Romeo.
What man art thou that thus bescreamed a knight, so stumbles upon my counsel?
Well,
not my desires. But if it be a sin to covet honor, then I am the most offending soul alive. No faith, my cause. Wish not a man from England. God's peace, I would not lose so great an honor. As one man more, methinks, would share from me for the best hopes I have. Who do not wish Westmoreland. Rather, proclaim it Westmoreland, through my host, that he which hath no stomach to this fight, let him depart. His passport shall be made, and crowns are conquered, put into his purse. We will not die in that man's company, that fears his fellowship to die with us. Old men forget, yet all shall be forgotten. He'll remember with advantages what feats he did that day. We shout our names, familiar in his mouth, his household words. Henry the King, Bedford and Exeter, Warwick and Talbot, Salisbury and Gloucester, be in their flowing cups freshly remembered. Tomorrow is St. Crispian. He that shall live this day and come safe home will stand a tiptoe when this day is named and rouse him at the name of Crispian. He that shall live this day and see old age will yearly on the vigil feast his neighbors and say, tomorrow is St. Crispian. Then will he strip his sleeve and show his scars and say, these wounds I had on Crispian's day.
Thrice the grinding cat hath mewed.
Thrice in once the hedge pig whined.
Hammer cries, 'tis time, 'tis time.
Round about the cauldron go, is the poison entrails throw. Toad under cold stone, days and nights has 31. Swelters venom, sleeping guts, boiled first in charmed pots. Double, double, toil and trouble, fire, burning, cauldron bubble. Flame of fenny snake in the cauldron boil and bake. Eye of newty toe of frog, wool of bat, common dog. Adder's spark and blackbird sting, lizard's leg and owlet's wing. Poor charmed piles of trouble, like a hell rust boil and bubble. Double, double, toil and trouble, fire, burning, cauldron bubble.
Scale of dragon, tooth of wolf, witch's mummy, mauling gulf. Of the rabbit, salty shark, root of hemlock, dig the dirt. Liver of blaspheming Jews, nose of Turk and Turner's lips. Finger of the strangled babe, ditch delivered by a drag. Make the cauldron thick and slab. Add thereto a tiger's chaldron for the ingredients of our cauldron.
Double, double, toil and trouble, fire, burning, cauldron bubble. Cool it with a baboon's blood, then the charm is firm and good.
Oh, well done! I command your pains, and everyone shall share them. I the gains. Now without, the cauldron sings. Live, elves and fairies and rings, enchanting everything you partake.
By the pricking of my thumb, something wicked this way comes. Open locks, whoever knocks.
How now your secret? Black and midnight hags. What is it you do? A deed without a name.
I conjure you by that way you press. How you come to know it, answer me. Though you untie the winds and let them fight against the church and though the esty waves, confound swell navigation up, though black army launch and trees blow down, though castles topple on their borders' heads, though palaces and pyramids do slow. Their heads to their foundations fill the treasure, their nature's germs tumble altogether, even till destruction sicken. Answer me to what I ask you.
Speak.
Demand.
Will answer. Say if thou'st rather hear it from our mouths or from our... Come high
High or low, thyself in office deftly show.
Tell me, though unknown power,
He knows thy thought. Here speak that thou say not.
Macbeth, Macbeth, Macbeth. Beware Macduff. Beware thy butt. Dismiss me.
where thou art, for thy good caution.
Show his eyes and grieve his heart. Come like shadows, so depart. fight, and damned all those that trust him. I did fear to gallop his horse, who wasn't came by.
His stewardly, my lord, that come to bring you word Macduff is fled to England.
Fled to England?
Aye, my good lord.
Time thou anticipatest my dreaded close. The flighting purpose is never overtook, unless it did go with it from this moment.
Shakespeare's play The Tempest opens on board a ship caught in a raging storm. Crew members battle desperately to keep their ship from splitting on the rocks near Priscilla's Island. As angry, panicked passengers, members of the King's Court, get in their way.
Baltar! Here, master, what cheer? Good, speak to the mariners. Fortunate that we run ourselves as well. Besta! Besta!
Hi, my hearts! Cheerily, cheerily, my hearts! Take the topsail! Take the master's whistle!
Good, boatswain, have care. Where's master?
Agree, don't keep low.
Where's master, boatswain?
You don't hear him? You are a leaver. Keep your company. You do this before.
Nay, good, be patient.
But the seas, to cabin, silence, trouble is not.
Remember whom thou hast aboard.
Not that I owe more to myself. But you can command these elements of silence. Use your authority. And you cannot give things that you have been so long. Out of our way, I say! Down with the topmast! Lower! Lower! A plague upon this howling! It's louder than the weather! What? Yet again? What do you do here? Shall we give war drown? Do you have minds to sink?
Of cock so your throat, you bawling blasphemous incharitable dog.
Work you then!
Hang, cur, hang, you insolent noisemaker.
Lay her a hole! A hole! Off to sea again! Lay her off!
All lost! To rest! To rest! All lost!
What? Master Mouse be cooled?
King and Prince are at prayer. Let's assist them with their cases as theirs.
I am out of patience. We merely cheated our lives!
He'll be hanged yet, every drop of water. I swear against it.
Mercy on us! We